First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not allowing my sister to see my son because of something she said months ago? I have two older siblings, my brother 32 and my sister 33. I am 21 and I found out I was pregnant last year. Everyone was more than happy for us and congratulated us. Everyone but my sister. My sister had to basically look after me and take on a third parent role and watch me on nights my parents worked or weekends they worked. Because of that, she blamed me and hated me because I was the reason she lost her childhood. I've apologized countless times to her because this topic came up frequently, but after a while, I gave up trying to make it up to her for something I had no control over. Over and over again, I get phone calls out of the blue for reminding me how much I messed her childhood up and had no remorse. By the way, shout out to all of you older siblings who are forced to grow up too soon and look after your little siblings. When I announced my pregnancy, my sister called me and ruined the moment by bringing up how she had to raise me, how she lost her childhood. Then she started talking about my unborn child, saying how I'm having my baby at an early age because I want him to raise his future little siblings like she had too. She continued in how I'd never make a good mom because I didn't grow up like she did. I finally had enough of her and went no contact. My son was born last month and everyone has got any chance to see him on FaceTime. My brother and parents were the only ones to see him in person. My sister got in contact with my brother and told him to tell me when she can see him. I told him to tell her she isn't allowed to see him because of the way she treated me when I was pregnant. I'm assuming she told our parents this because my dad wants me to let her see my baby. He said let bygones be bygones and stop living the past, and my mom agreed. My fiancé is on my side. My brother is more on her side and only thinks she should apologize for what she said about me being a bad mom, which she's refused to apologize for because she insists she did nothing wrong. I'm not too keen on letting her see him still. I feel like I'm being an a-hole by not allowing her to see him. Am I the a-hole? Editing to add, my brother also babysat me. He always said it wasn't as bad as my sister makes it out to be. Also adding, he didn't watch me as much as she did when he started to play sports. I barely remember my childhood days. I just know she stopped looking after me once I was 8 to 9. Now for the top comments. Not a a-hole. Your sister is understandably angry, but her anger is misplaced. She should be angry with your parents. Your parents forced her to give up her childhood to become a third parent to you. The things she has said to you were unacceptable. She should seek therapy and apologize to you. Your parents are on her side because she is blaming you for their abuse. It's your child and your choice who has a relationship with him. You have done nothing wrong. Congrats on your little one. Her anger is misplaced. This, you have pretty much gravelled at her feet for something you couldn't control because your parents probably don't give the same reaction you did. She's tormenting you because she sees you as an easy target. Stay strong and don't let her see your child until she either A, sincerely apologizes, no, I'm sorry you feel that way, or B, gets therapy for her issues. Not an a-hole. Edit to add, I would probably go low contact with your parents and brother if they keep pushing the issue. Guarantee the first time they watch your child, she will be right over there taking pictures holding them. Not to mention, her sister seems to spend all her free time harassing her for being born. Where are the parents with the whole let bygones be bygones then? Lol. It's clearly not bygones, but not through any fault of OP's. I agree that parentification is abuse as much as anyone, but she's seriously barking up the wrong tree, and her goal seems to be merely bullying OP and making her feel guilty for being born. I don't know what else she hopes to accomplish with all this nonsense. Not a-hole. Your parents say, let bygones be bygones? They should tell that to your sister, not to you. This. Why are they giving free pass for OP's sister when was angry because OP stole her childhood that was years ago? Even though the parents were the one that parentified the sister. But when OP is angry at her sister for what she said, the parents are like, oh OP, you should just be forgiving about. Terrible parenting. Also, the audacity of the sister for saying she did nothing wrong after harassing OP non-stop. Not an a-hole, OP. Not an a-hole. Let me say it out loud, OP. You are not responsible for ruining her childhood. Your parents are. You are doing the right thing when you don't allow her to see your baby. You are a mother who is protecting her child. Your sister definitely has issues that she should deal with therapy and confrontation with your parents. She wrongly blames all of her issues, anger, resentment, and frustration onto you. Plus, she didn't apologize to you. She thought she was right. So if you allow her again in your life, her behavior toward you won't change at all. Focus on your family and keep people who are supporting you with only positive thoughts/attitude. Let your parents and brother know that they have to respect your no-contact decision. They have to stop pushing you. The family/let the past behind card is BS. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister live with me after she said she wouldn't help with my kids? I am a single mother of 2 sons, 4 male and 1 male. 4 male is on a 50-50 custody schedule, while I have 1 male full-time, different setups due to different dads. I live in our parents' old home, which they sold to me. My sister lost her job. She's asked if I'd let her live with me in her old room, starting in March and continuing until she finds a new job and her own place. She would be willing to contribute financially, but due to her current lack of income, it won't be much. The alternative is sleeping in our parents' sofa in their new house. My sister said she felt bad about not contributing, so I said, well, if you want to help out, I could use a hand. She asked what I needed, and I threw out the first thing I thought of, which is taking 4-year-old to his dad's place. It's not hard, but it's time-consuming, so if she wanted to drive him there, that would really help me. She said no, and asked if there was anything else. I said I have a childminder come here for a couple hours on Friday while I run errands, so if she wanted to take over for that, it would save me some money. And she again said no, saying she wanted as little to do with the boys as possible. I then said she can't have no interaction with my kids at all. They live here, and she said that she doesn't like kids, so she doesn't want to deal with them. I asked her what she'd do if there was an emergency and I needed her to do something child-related as one-off, and she said that clearly that wouldn't be an issue because I've been doing fine by myself so far, and that my girlfriend, ex, or our parents could help. I then said that as none of those people live with me, I would like to know that in an emergency I could rely on her as she would be the other adult in the house, particularly as 4-year-old has been to A&D a few times recently. I made clear that I wouldn't take the piss. But in an emergency situation, I need to know that she'd help me. She said that I could rely on her, just not for kid stuff. I then said I'm not sure living together is the best idea, and suggested she talk to our parents again about taking their sofa. She asked if this was because of the kids, and I said it was. She said that I was unreasonable, as I wouldn't expect this from any other roommate, that I was being a a-hole over a hypothetical scenario which could very easily never happen, and that I have plenty of support in the form of my ex, parents, and girlfriend, so I don't need extra help from her, and that it's selfish of me to ask and deny her use of her old room over it. I said it's my guest room, and I need to know that if she's living with me, I can rely on her in a crisis. She said it's not her job to parent my kids. And I said it's also not her job to hate kids so much that she wouldn't help with her own nephews while living with them. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. She said that it was unreasonable as I wouldn't expect this from any other roommate. Yeah, because any other roommate would pay the required rent. So yeah, not the a-hole. Sister wants discounted rent and willing to pitch in with compensating responsibilities and can't even be relied upon in a family emergency. Then tries to guilt trip when OP says no. This makes sister an a-hole. If any stranger off the street tried to move in on those terms, they'd be laughed away. It's not her job to parent your kids, and it's not your job to give her a cheap or even free place to live. Not the a-hole. I think this comment is fair and balanced. Also, if it was a stranger off the street, OP wouldn't let them move in because of her kids. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Any other roommates would be paying you full rent, their share of utilities, and pay for their own food. Unless she's willing to do that, she can't claim any other roommate status. And on top of that, I doubt she even wants a roommate. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to just skip a day of my commitment to 20,000 steps a day just to prove something to my sister-in-law? 5 years ago, I made a commitment to get at least 20,000 steps every day, and I've stuck to it every day. It hasn't been easy, but it's something that really felt important to me. I was fat and stuck in a very sedentary lifestyle and mindset. Making the commitment forced me to get off my butt, taking long walks and then picking up running, and overall being mindful of no longer being a lazy person. I've slimmed down, and I'm overall much happier and healthier than I was, physically and especially mentally. Other side effects are that my home is cleaner, I know more of my neighbors, I've seen a lot of great street art, etc. It's not something that really impacts my day beyond making sure I have the time, but for some reason, it really pisses my sister-in-law off. I don't make a big deal yelling, "Gotta get my steps in every day. Hey everyone, my steps, getting them," or anything. We were at the park with her kids. She asked me if I was still doing that silly step thing, and I said yeah. I felt pretty good about it. She said that she worries about me and how obsessive I am about it. I told her that I don't think I'm obsessive, that it's just part of my daily routine, like taking a shower or cleaning up. Well, she got all weird and started saying, "I bet you can't give it up for just one day. Just one day. See, you're addicted. It's an obsession. It's unhealthy." I told her that I'm not addicted. Again, the same way I'm not addicted to taking a shower or brushing my teeth. It's just a part of my lifestyle now. That I'm not going to give up and break my streak just to prove a point. That would be ridiculous. I suggested maybe she could join me and try it for a few days, and she went off saying that I was calling her fat. She went around pestering everyone in the family to challenge myself by taking a day off. She switched her tune, and is now trying to guilt me by telling me it's setting a bad, unrealistic expectation for my nieces and nephews. I think that's ridiculous, and obviously if I'm doing it, it's not unrealistic. Her biggest complaint is that, for the past few holiday meals we've had together, I make a big show of getting up and taking a walk afterwards, like I'm trying to prove something to someone. I told her that's pretty common, and that some families go on runs together in the morning for Thanksgiving or take a hike. She told me that I was effectively shaming everyone because they wanted to relax. I think that's ridiculous, but she insists that it's insulting to everyone and makes me an obsessed a-hole. Am I the a-hole? I think it's worth adding that my sister-in-law isn't fat. At least I don't see her as fat or overweight or anything. Also, I don't have an eating disorder and I'm not replacing one addiction with another, so please stop projecting that onto me. You people are trying to come up with these insane hypotheticals to try to gotcha me, because for some reason you want me to have an eating disorder. So let me clarify one last time, and I won't be acknowledging any comments insinuating that I need to reflect or whatever. I do not have an eating disorder. I do not have an exercise addiction. So now that we have that out of the way, time for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Beyond the fact that is your body and your choice, your sister-in-law needs to mind her own damn business. If anything, you're setting a good example to the kids. It's a healthy and low-impact way of exercise. Not the a-hole. You do realize you're the one who's decided to launch a full-out campaign against me, literally putting one foot in front of the other, right? I don't know what your issue here is, but I refuse to make it mine, so drop the subject, please. If she won't, then just reiterate that you're not discussing this with her, and block/mute/make alternate socializing plans, or be prepared to leave if she starts in as necessary. This is 100% about her insecurities, which is why she is accusing you of doing this to judge others, rather than because it is good for you. Not the a-hole. She got all weird and started saying, "I bet you can't give it up for just one day. Just one day. See? You're addicted. It's an obsession. It's unhealthy. Maybe she should go a day without drinking any fluids. I bet she can't give that up for just one day. She's addicted." Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my sister at my wedding? I'm a 20-year-old female from the UK who got engaged a year ago. My husband-to-be is amazing, and his family's also accepted me without any issues. The problem is my family. I grew up as the oldest, with one younger sister. We'll call her Abby. Now, whilst my parents deny it, Abby has always been the favorite. I don't fully know why, but from what I can tell, it's because she is more normal. She doesn't play video games. She doesn't watch anime. She's not nerdy, and she was popular in school. Aside from being the favorite, Abby also has a huge ego and always wants to be the center of attention. For example, my family went for a meal out to a restaurant for my 18th birthday. The whole time, the attention was directed on Abby, whilst I sat there mostly in silence, ignored by my family. Whenever I tried to speak, I was ignored or the topic was quickly redirected to my sister. I don't want the whole spotlight on me, but I at least want to be spoken back to when I'm trying to talk. I just drank a few cocktails and went to bed that night feeling a little hollow. It didn't feel like a celebration, just that I was obligated to be there to listen to Abby ramble on. A year later, I got engaged on the day after my 19th birthday. The next time I visited my parents, they took us out for a meal to celebrate the engagement. No Abby present. This meal was actually very pleasant, and I was hopeful for a better relationship with my parents. However, by the next visit, it was back to normal. And by that point, my sister was in a relationship, which was short-lived, so the attention was on her and her boyfriend. Every single visit after that has been about my sister, her boyfriend, or her breakup from said boyfriend. Me and my future husband are now planning our wedding. We intend to have the wedding in a few years when I've graduated and the virus has passed, but have begun formulating a guest list, color themes, etc. My sister is already beginning to pose an issue. She expects to be a bridesmaid, but is refusing to accept the dress color I've picked. I also intend on letting the bridesmaids pick their own dresses so long as they're the same color. My sister refuses this also and expects me to buy her an expensive luxury bridesmaid dress. She's also nitpicked at other things and speaks as if the wedding is for her. I don't want her to come if she's going to cause problems or become the center of attention. This wedding is the only day I want specifically for myself and my partner. However, I know it'd cause an uproar in my family to not allow her to come to the wedding or to not have her as a bridesmaid. I'm not sure what to do. And whilst my partner and his family say it's my choice and not to worry, I still fear the conflict that may arise if I chose not to let her come. Or if I'm being unreasonable and should give her a chance. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your wedding, your guests, your decisions. If the people ask don't like them, then they have two choices. Accept and come, or don't accept and don't go. It's very simple. I would explain what you want. And if she doesn't want to join in, then explain she wants to be a bridesmaid and can just be a guest and sit with everyone else. Or not come. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for your response. It's not easy where family is concerned. My wedding was just me, my missus, and two friends. We didn't invite family as they had started to interfere and it was getting bigger than we wanted. My mother-in-law never said congratulations and has always been a bit funny about it to me. But my wife enjoyed the wedding, which is the main thing in my opinion. Yeah, I just want it to be amazing for my partner and I and to splurge a little on the honeymoon. However, are using it as an opportunity to invite overseas friends to join us. We never wanted to have a big wedding and won't go near to my max limit of guests. And all our friends are introverted and only louder and open when with people they're close to. My sister is the outlier. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my niece's college after she publicly humiliated me? I, 45 female, am child-free by choice, but have always been close to my brother, 47 male, and his daughter, Emily, 18 female. Over the years, I've saved up a decent amount of money, and I offered to help pay for Emily's college when the time came. She's a smart kid, and I wanted to give her opportunities I never had growing up. Everything was fine until last month. I was invited to Emily's high school graduation party, which was a big deal in our family. During the party, Emily gave a speech thanking everyone for their support. She thanked her parents, her grandparents, even her friends. Then she paused, looked at me and said, "And a big thanks to Aunt, me, for not having kids, so she could spoil me like I'm hers. Must be nice having all that extra money and no responsibilities." The entire room laughed, and I froze. I could feel everyone looking at me, and all I could do was smile awkwardly. I've heard jokes about being child-free before, but this felt cruel and unnecessary, especially since I've sacrificed a lot to save for her future. My brother and sister-in-law laughed too, which hurt even more. After the party, I confronted Emily privately. She rolled her eyes and said it was just a joke, and I needed to lighten up. My brother brushed it off, saying, "Teenagers can be dumb. Don't take it personally." I've spent weeks thinking about this, and I've decided to withdraw my offer to pay for her college. I feel like she doesn't respect me or the efforts I've made to support her. When I told my brother, he blew up at me, calling me selfish and accusing me of punishing Emily for one harmless joke. Emily hasn't apologized, and now I'm questioning if I'm being too harsh. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. When they demand the money again, tell them you have bought yourself a holiday home and the money is gone. When they complain about you letting them down, tell them it's one of the perks of having no kids. You have no responsibilities to anyone. Not the a-hole. No. When they ask for the money again, just simply say, I didn't mean it. I was always only joking about the college fund. As if I'd pay for my brother's kids' education. That's his responsibility. She hasn't apologized, which means you are not being too harsh. I understand a teenager's stupid joke scenario, but if she does not apologize and repent for humiliating you, even if that was not her intention, then you still are not harsh enough. Do not cave. Have some self-respect and teach this kid and her parents that actions have consequences. Let them deal with them. Grow a spine. Driving under influence might be a teenager's stupid mistake, but after the accident and the innocent people unalived, the consequences will not disappear just because you are a stupid teenager making a mistake. Life does not work like that. I feel the same. It's the lack of apology that seals that OP is being disrespected. It's not hard to apologize when something said is intended differently than it's heard. Niece is young, but when she realized she'd hurt her aunt, an apology was the right thing. Or even a conversation about what she said and what she meant. It's not hard to apologize when something said is intended differently than it's heard. Exactly. I wanted to believe at first she tried a joke but failed miserably. Now I only see disrespect and disdain for her aunt's lifestyle. If so, she does not deserve OP's money and time. Emily is parroting the hateful BS your brother has been talking about you. Not the a-hole. Spend it on yourself. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she'll regret picking her husband over her children? I, 23 female, and my husband, 22 male, moved in with my mom over the summer to help my mom with her bills and to help take care of my 3 younger siblings. The main reason for this move was because I did not want her to get back with her boyfriend that she had been dating on and off for the past 7 to 8 years. Not long after we moved in, she starts talking to him again after repeatedly telling me she was never going to get back together with him. She then goes on to marry him, and since then has taken on this mentality that she is his wife and has responsibilities towards him, so she has to be with him 24/7. Which in turn meant to me and my siblings that we would see her less, because he does not live with us. Ever since she got married, she goes directly to him after work, and the only time my siblings see her is in the mornings when she takes them to school. She's not even home during the weekends. Recently this past weekend, me and her ended up arguing over text, because my siblings missed their mom and wanted to see her. She then chooses to, instead of coming to see her kids, to call them and tell them that she is too busy to see them, and that when she was there, that all they did was play video games. But now that she is with her husband, they suddenly miss her and want to spend time with her. This made my siblings sad, which naturally made me step in and tell her off. I told her she can't be serious right now, and that obviously her children are going to miss her. That even though they might have a roof over their heads and food, that doesn't mean they don't still need their mother's presence, more than just a few minutes in the morning when they're going to school. I told her she can't seriously be picking a man that has literally shown he does not care about her over her children who do love her. She responded by telling me the same thing she told my siblings, that when she was with us, that my siblings didn't appreciate her, and that they just spent their time playing games. I'm like, be so for real. You're resenting them as if they're not literally children. Where's that energy with that man that has literally done nothing good for us? She's like, oh, so I'm a bad mom. Okay, that's fine. You'll regret your words one day. She then hangs up on me and refuses my calls and texts my sister telling her she's not going to talk to me. So I texted her and told her the one that's going to regret her words is you, and you'll be sorry for picking a man over your children. The day you learn to not put a man on a pedestal is the day you'll get your blessings. It's a serious mental problem to be so attached to a man. That I love her, but I know she's not okay by doing what she's doing. She's now no longer talking to me and only contacts my siblings. Am I the a-hole, or was this a reality check my mom needed? Edit: since I didn't include their ages in the original post, my siblings are 10 male, 13 male, and 15 female. In case you're wondering my mom's age, she's 40, and her new husband is about late 50s. I'm not entirely sure his exact age. Their dad is 38. For those wondering where their dad is, he is still in the picture, but he also has a new partner. He comes to visit them once or twice a week sometimes and buys them food and clothes. He is supposed to be giving my mom child support, but he's not always very timely about it. I also want to acknowledge my mom does contribute financially to them still. The only issue is she is not here physically with them as often as she should be. Not the a-hole, and honestly your mom needed to hear that. It sounds like you're stepping up in a situation where your mom is neglecting her responsibilities, and that's not fair to you or your siblings. Her excuse about your siblings not appreciating her because they play video games is honestly ridiculous. Kids play games. That doesn't mean they don't love or miss their mom. They're children, and it's her job as their parent to be present, even if they aren't showering her with gratitude 24/7. It feels like she's using that as an excuse to justify prioritizing her husband over her kids. It's a CPS story waiting to implode. Parents, especially custodial parents, are expected to reside with their minor children. It's so beyond an argument. It's criminal negligence. This is not okay, and is also making you responsible when you're a young newlywed. This is not fair to the kids or you, but thank you for being there for your siblings. I hope she opens her eyes and realizes she isn't doing them any good. Not the a-hole. I'd say that her husband made it clear that he didn't want her kids living with them, so she got you to move in so she could move out. She's at least going to have to pay you child support if you choose to bring up your siblings in the long term. As you and your husband are so young, is he okay suddenly being dad to 3 kids? If he's not, I'd be asking your mom's sister or other family members to step in and either convince your mom that child abandonment is illegal or take the kids themselves if they can. My husband fortunately does not mind, since he hasn't really taken the role of dad. He is more of an older brother to them. His only issue is the obvious stress and disappointment my mom's absence has caused. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not supporting my ex-best friend after my brother put her in the hospital? My brother was a prick to me my whole life. He's 2 years older and blamed me for his dad leaving. We have different dads. We were raised by my mom, who was very much checked out, and that made me an easy target. He wished me dead, called me a whore. He got other kids to bully me in school, and every chance he got, he told me he wished I wasn't his sister. I had a best friend through all that, Sammy. Her dad and siblings were also really great, and they took me in as a family because they knew mine sucked. When we were 16, Sammy betrayed me in the worst way by starting to date my brother. I told her I'd never forgive her. She tried to make it seem like I was the bad guy, and how dare I tell her who she could and couldn't date. She knew what my brother was like and still went and dated him. I had to pull away from her family because I couldn't be around her, but I did tell her dad. Sammy hated me for it because her dad did everything to get her away from my brother. I got a call a couple of weeks ago and it was Sammy's dad. My brother put Sammy in the hospital and her dad wanted to give me a heads up in case my brother tried to come for me. Sammy tried to reach out, but when I realized it was her calling, I shut it down. She kept trying and I ignored and blocked her. She had her sister reach out, and while we were talking, she took the phone off her sister and she told me she needed me. I told her to go to hell. A few more attempts were made and then one of her siblings called while Sammy was there and they asked me how I could do that. And shouldn't I understand what my brother is like and be there for the girl who was there for me until she made a mistake? I said there was no coming back from it, and I refused to believe she was manipulated. That it was an easy cop-out and I owe her nothing. They tried to insult me, but I ended the call and blocked that number. I've had a long list of blocked numbers the last couple of weeks. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She went into that relationship with her eyes wide open, knowing damn well how cruel he was to you, and now you're supposed to pick up the pieces for her? Nope. She made her choices and has zero right to drag you back in his BS. her circus, her monkeys. She literally became a bully when she started dating your brother. Invalidating you like that and dating an abusive person which she knew about is irredeemable. And to try to reach out to you, the nerve. How are you supposed to comfort her if she is part of your trauma? That was really just the worst betrayal. I came to live with you and you started dating one of the reasons I came to live with you. Shaking my head. Despicable. Nope. COP, here's the thing. You didn't say, "I told you so," to her. So by definition, I think you're in the clear. Your former best friend dated your vile, abusive bully of a brother, knowing full well how he was. Try to make you the bad guy, and then has the nerve to come back to you after everything. Nah, not the a-hole. Just curious though, you said her dad was fully on your side throughout this. What did he say about this whole situation? Well, we didn't talk for years because of this. He felt sick that his daughter was dating someone like my brother, and he apologized for what he did. He also said he would always be there if I needed something, but he understood I had to pull away because I couldn't be around her. Has he said anything about the current situation? Like about how his daughters are verbally abusing you for not wanting to contact? He only called to give me the heads up. We didn't talk after that. I'm not even sure if he knows about it. Having her sister harass you shows what kind of person she really is. You can always tell a person's character by how they act when they don't get what they want. How is your relationship with your parents? I don't have one. Never met my dad, and my mom was pretty awful herself and just didn't care. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter if she goes back to her ex, I will not support her? My daughter is 26. Her ex-husband was abusive. They dated for 3 years before getting married a year ago. My ex-son-in-law changed after he married my daughter. I didn't even know about any of this until my daughter told me everything. After she got married, he abused my daughter financially and emotionally, and sometimes physically. I don't really want to go through everything, but he is a POS who literally ruined my daughter. My daughter told me everything 2 months after she got married. I encouraged her to fight for her rights, but she said she just wants to get away and doesn't want to fight. I didn't force her and had to pay a huge amount to get her a clean divorce. My daughter was broke. She lost her job and she's been living with us since then. My daughter has been depressed all these months, and she spends most of her time with me and her mother. She cuddles with us both, she vents, she tells us what she went through, and me and my wife just listen to her and try not to get angry. But my wife is always sad and tells me multiple times to take care of her. She makes me promise that I will take care of our daughter. I assure her, but she's feeling what she's feeling, as I am and my daughter is, and I can't do anything to change that. But a week ago, my daughter told us that she's been talking to her ex and has been apologizing to her and wants to get back with her. We were surprised, and we try to tell her that we understand you love him, but he doesn't. But my daughter wouldn't listen and said she wants to get back with him and give him another chance. My wife started crying and told me to talk to her, and she left to our bedroom. I told my daughter that he can't change. Those people never do. Don't put yourself through what you already went through and your family did. My daughter said she wants to give him another chance. I tried everything. I said everything I could, but she didn't listen to me. When I had enough, I told her if she wants to be with him again, then that's her decision. But I wouldn't be able to help her again because I am already drained, and I still have to think about retirement and take care of her mother. She cried and hugged me. I told her that I am with her. I think about her, but I also have to think about her mother. She's suffering as well. My daughter didn't say anything, just hugged me and cried, ate, and went to sleep. And she started avoiding us both and stopped interacting. She just hugs us and go back to her room. When I told my wife what I said to our daughter, she got angry at me and said I shouldn't have said what I said. I should have been polite and helped her, but I made it even worse. I told her that she should have talked to her instead, and my wife also has been angry with me ever since. So, am I the a-hole here? Did I do something wrong? I just want to help and protect 2 women I love the most. I did everything in my power to help them, but now they are treating me as if I am the source of their suffering. You should advise your daughter to read Why Does He Do That by Lindy Bancroft before she gets back with her ex. It describes the cycle of abuse and the types of abusers. and could be a great tool to help her truly realize the gravity of her situation. You can find free PDF versions of it online and get her into therapy if it's financially viable. This is a good example of the abuse cycle. It goes like this: tension, incident, reconciliation, and calm. She has gone through the calm when they first got together. Then there was tension. Then a certain incident where she moved out and moved in with you. Now the ex is love bombing, saying he has changed and things will be great. And they will be for a while. Then a tension will creep in, and then there is some incident. And boom, she's back home. She is angry with you because she wants to believe that everything is going to be good and that this cycle doesn't exist. But you can see the writing on the wall. It will get back to where it was. It is easy to blame other people, not yourself. That is why you pointing out that they are not good for each other brings their wrath to bear. At this point, all you can do is be there to pick up the pieces. One strategy of abusers is to isolate them from source of support, so if they try to leave, they have no place to go. Exactly. You need to be there for the next time because there will be a next time. Maybe suggest that you would be more supportive if they do couples therapy before any major decisions such as moving back in together. In any regards, your daughter needs therapy to get over the abuse and regain a self-worth that has been taken from her. And what is your wife doing other than complaining? The daughter inherited her immature character from her mom for sure. OP sounds like he is babysitting 2 grown kids. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I can't wait to leave her without any of her kids since she can't stop using me as a pawn? My mom cheated on her ex-husband, which made him leave her. I was born from the affair, and her ex-husband wanted nothing to do with me, which I totally understand. I do. They had 4 kids together, who were 7 to 14 when I, 17 female, was born. My mom made me think he was my dad for years and tried to get him to take care of me. She got even pushier because their kids rejected me. They rejected her too, but me even more and worse than they rejected her really. She'd try to force her ex and his family, like his parents and siblings, to interact with me. That would happen at their kids' sport games and other events. She dragged me along, tried to sit with them, and lead conversations. All it did was make me feel like crap, because he couldn't hide his disgust for me, and his family didn't hide theirs either. Another issue is my name. She gave me an Italian first name to go with our Italian last name, which is her ex's last name. 2 of their other kids have Italian names he chose, and the other 2 have non-Italian names chosen by my mom. She has admitted she wanted to try and shame him into taking care of me. She's also used my name to try and make it believable to others that he is my real dad. She would tell people he abandoned me because I was so young and he wanted to be done with her faster. When her other kids stopped talking to her, she'd take me to her ex's house and argue with him for letting me get left behind. Sometimes when she did this, the police were called. Other times, he and their kids would stand there arguing, and over I was called the affair kid. It got to me. I cried at times, and even then, my mom would just keep standing there and arguing. My mom eventually gave up, but she still tells people I'm his child. She says I have his name and that my first name is one he chose from his culture and family. It bothers me so much that she won't let it go. I don't have any extended family in my life. I don't know my mom's family and have never been able to find my dad online, if the name she gave me is even correct. She mopes about her kids not talking to her and how she's a grandma who doesn't know her grandkids. She says most of her kids have left her and complains about it. She told me we should be closer, but she says I act like I don't like her. I asked her how she could be surprised and told her I can't wait to leave her like all her other kids did. I said she doesn't deserve to have me stick around when she uses me as a pawn. She got really mad and yelled at me, saying she's all I have, which is true. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, and looking forward to all the amazing adventures ahead of you as you get therapy and build your chosen family as you move forward in life. Her mom's actions have caused immense pain for everyone involved, especially her. Her choices have put OP in a terrible position, and her frustration is completely justified. She is not responsible for fixing her mom's mistakes or staying in a toxic environment. Not the a-hole, and you're almost 18. Maybe you should choose your own new name, first and last. Have it legally changed as soon as you can. I like that idea a lot, maybe even a new last name. If you get it done as close to 18 as possible, then you'll have a lot less paperwork to fill out or places to notify about your name change. If you're struggling with so many options, you can always start with your initials and see if anything fits as a starting point. Thanks for the advice. I'll do my best to make that happen ASAP. Not the a-hole. She's only all you have because she's withheld an entire side of your family from you. Why don't you try one of those ancestry DNA tests and see if you come up with any matches? She chose not to involve your father, but that doesn't mean he or his family wouldn't want the opportunity if given it now. Do your half-siblings know you didn't want your mom being so pushy? They don't care. They just straight up hate me and wish I was dead. When I'm a little older, I do want to look. Just to see, with zero expectations. Next story. Am I the a-hole because I won't delay having a hysterectomy after the birth of my baby so I can be a surrogate for my sister? I, 28 female, am having my third and final child with my husband and have a scheduled C-section and hysterectomy planned. My period started when I was young, 9, and have been extremely painful, heavy, and very long ever since. I wasn't even sure if I could get pregnant with my issues, but I knew I wanted children, so I delayed having a hysterectomy when the option was first presented to me. It was worth it, but these extra years have been torture on my body. My sister, 31 female, is struggling with infertility. She's had fertility treatments, but nothing has worked for her yet. It has been suggested to her on more than one occasion that she consider a surrogate. She was very against it for a long time. In another situation, one where I didn't have all the health problems I do, I would have offered to be her surrogate because we're so close. But I need to be done. I don't know if I'll survive like this if I wait another couple of years or more so my sister can have kids. In December, my sister came right out and asked me not to have the hysterectomy yet and to be her surrogate so she could be a mother too. I told her I was so sorry, and if my body weren't giving me the hell it is, I'd do it for her, but I couldn't delay it any longer. She got upset but told me it was fine, and she understood. I could tell it bothered her, but I didn't want to fight about it. Then Christmas came and my brother-in-law got involved. Our whole family was together on Christmas Day, and when everyone was busy, he asked to speak to me. He berated me for my selfishness, saying that if I loved my sister as much as I said, I delayed the procedure like I did for my own selfish reasons. My husband and mom heard him, and they stepped in to defend me. My husband told my brother-in-law to back off, saying nobody should ever be pressured into carrying a pregnancy. My mom said that emotions might be high around this, but it wasn't my fault, and he shouldn't attack me like that. Brother-in-law told them I broke my sister's heart, and he was mad at me for it. My mom reiterated that it wasn't my fault. The rest of Christmas Day was trained. Afterward, my sister told me she was sorry about her husband's behavior, but they were just so upset and felt robbed of having a baby biologically related to both of them. I told her I was so sorry and was here if she needed me. Brother-in-law later reached out and said my sister might be sorry, but he still thinks I'm incredibly selfish. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. She's not entitled to your womb. It's terrible for her and her husband to pressure you. Right? Once again, brother-in-law attempts incredibly manipulative argument he doesn't realize works both ways. If they loved OP, they wouldn't be so incredibly selfish to demand this of her. Not the a-hole. Screw your brother-in-law. He wants you to risk your life and prolong medical complications to have a high-risk pregnancy because he and your sister don't want to adopt. Most women have a hard time getting a hysterectomy because doctors tell them they need to wait for various misogynistic reasons. The fact that it was suggested to you previously means you must really need the procedure to protect your health and life. They can find another surrogate. That's what it all boils down to. I know so many who struggle to get a doctor willing. I had 2 doctors who said I'd need to have 1 young. They've tried everything to help me avoid this, and nothing has worked or helped. Even the advice some doctors give, get pregnant, it'll fix things, didn't help me. Just because you aren't able to carry a child for them doesn't mean they don't have other options. They could find another surrogate. I mean, if it's her egg and his sperm, the child would still be biologically theirs, even if the surrogate isn't related. It's not like her being the surrogate changes their DNA, unless she also wanted you to supply the egg. Their refusal to accept or consider other options is what's selfish. They're not even considering the risks you'd face with another pregnancy. Anything could happen. There could be complications. Ensuring your health isn't selfish. You need to be there for your kids. I hope you get relief from your hysterectomy. That's actually something I'm still unclear about. I guess they were going to try with her eggs, but then with mine if it didn't work with hers. But that threw me off too. Not the a-hole. I've also given birth 3 times. And let me say this, your brother-in-law can buzz all the way off. How does he feel entitled to nearly a year of someone's pain and discomfort? I wouldn't even do it again for my own family, let alone for anyone else. I can't ever do this again either. My pregnancy itself isn't the worst part, but my body just isn't doing well with everything. I know the fact that I did this 3 times and delayed the procedure angers him so much. I think in his mind, this should be their baby, and then I should have been done, instead of having another child for me and my husband. But even if I had decided to stop at 2 and offered a few months ago, my sister would have said no. She was still holding out for something else to work, and really, it still could happen for them. Next story. Mighty a-hole for refusing to let my sister-in-law have my kids in her family photo shoot. My sister-in-law, female 31, and I, female 26, have never gotten along, and we've rarely spoken to each other from the beginning. I've known her for 6 years, and after some wedding drama a few years ago, we completely stopped speaking. I've tried asking her to hang out before, but she always refused, so I eventually gave up. My husband and I have a 1.5-year-old twins. When I was pregnant, she made comments about how we were too young to have them, saying that her 30s are the best age for children, and yada yada yada. Now that she's in her 30s, she's announced that she doesn't want kids because they're too much work, and she's already focused on her dog. Cool, whatever. At first, she wanted nothing to do with her nephews and rarely came to see them. But recently, she's been a lot more involved with them, which would be fine if I didn't feel like she was overstepping boundaries. She won't speak to me but will always talk to my husband when it comes to the kids. If I'm holding one of my sons, she'll either take the one my husband is holding or wait until I leave to talk to them. It's like she goes out of her way to avoid me. For example, she'll call my husband and ask to take the twins almost every weekend to go somewhere far away. We settled on it once a month, which made her mad, but she got over it relatively quickly. She also wants them over once a week for dinner with her husband and dog. We allowed this, but she posted on her Instagram story a picture of them all with a caption, "Family Dinner." She jokingly refers to them as her sons, and once, when she dropped them back at our house, they were wearing t-shirts she got them that said, "Aunts are as important as moms." The last straw was when she asked my husband to let her take the twins for a family photo shoot with her dog and husband, so she could post it on her wall and social media. Initially, he refused, and she threw a fit, saying we were toxic and withholding her family from her. I finally put my foot down and told her I don't mind if she wants to see them, but I feel really disrespected. A, she refuses to speak to me or treat me with basic respect while wanting access to my children. B, she acts like she's their mom when she isn't. I told her that if she wants kids so badly, she should have her own. She flew off the handle, called me a psycho, and has refused to speak to us since. She even had my mother-in-law call my husband to ask if she could bring the twins to her house so my sister-in-law could see them. My husband said no. Am I the a-hole? I don't want to be a controlling mom, and I don't want my relationship with my sister-in-law to affect my children. They generally enjoy hanging out with her, but I can't help feeling disrespected. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister-in-law needs some professional help. The fact your husband is on board with you is great. Just be careful, as this sounds like too many other stories where things go wrong. Sounds like your sister-in-law needs some professional help. I agree. I think she's been coping about her decision to remain childless and is using my kids as a stand-in. I've suspected it for a while, but the family photo shoot thing really revealed it for me. As someone who's childless by choice, there's no coping to be had. You're just content with the life you've made for yourself, period. Even if you find out later you're barren, there's a period of weird grief and then relief. It sounds like she was more likely childless by choice, because it was cool or in until her friends started having kids, making her feel left out, and a social dynamic shifted. Or she might have known she couldn't have them, and a focus on being child-free was a front to cover her true feelings. Posting pictures of anyone's kids without express consent is already really inappropriate. Doubly so if the captions paint an inaccurate reality. Regardless, she needs help. But more importantly, your kids don't need to be around her, especially not unsupervised. There's nothing but red flags in this post. Go no contact with her, you and the kids. If you can't respect one of the parents, then you can't see the kids. That's what I was thinking, honestly. I just didn't want to be the mom who lets her own drama affect the children. But I also don't want to show them that it's okay for someone to talk to them while disrespecting me. Thank you. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom my dad can't dance with me at my wedding when she told me she thought I'd ask my dad? My dad died when I, 29 female, was 10. My mom has been remarried since I was 14. Her husband is Mike. Mike's fine, but he is not my dad. He wanted to be when he married my mom, and she wanted that too, but I didn't. Because of that, there's an underlying tension surrounding my relationship with Mike. They both felt like I should have allowed him to take on a role of a dad to me, and they've always expressed disappointment that I was never open to that. Even though I get along just fine with Mike, it wasn't enough. He has no kids, so they felt like it was only right for a fatherless girl to let a childless man in, so we could both have that relationship. I bring all this up because I know how my mom feels. 2 weeks ago, Mike asked who I was walking down the aisle with. I said I'd be walking by myself. Then he asked who I'd choose for the father-daughter dance. I said I was considering whether I'd ask my mom or not. After this, my mom told me she thought I'd ask my dad to dance with me because that's tradition. I knew she was talking about Mike. She didn't mean my actual dad. But my reply was, my dad can't dance with me at my wedding, and I don't know how she thought that would work. My reply was not well received. My mom told me to stop being a brat and said I knew what she meant. I told her I was giving the most honest reply because my dad died when I was 10 and there's no possible way for me to dance with him. She told me she understood what I was doing and that it made me a brat. I told her not to worry. I'd ask her because this conversation helped me make up my mind. She told me I owed Mike an apology, and once I've finished apologizing to him, I owed her one as well. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's been 15 plus years. They should learn to take a hint. I've seen some women get a little locket photo holder to attach to their bouquet so that their parent can walk down the aisle with them in spirit if you want a way to honor your dad without being over the top about it. I put a locket with my dad's picture in my bouquet. I hope Opie does this. My cousin's kids had a small decorated area/table set up at the reception dedicated to relatives who had passed and couldn't be there that day. My mother was one of those honored, and I had no idea they were doing this. I was touched. I hadn't seen this done before. The idea of having a father-like relationship with your stepfather should be up to you and him alone. Your mother needs to stop trying to force the issue. Unfortunately, weddings have a way of bringing these issues to the forefront of people's minds. People need to be happy with the relationships they've built, not the ones they've made up in their heads. Now, mom won't be getting a dance either because she can't be rational. Seriously, when my sister found out I was eloping, she wanted to throw me a party with my half-sister and 2 cousins, women I'm not fond of and not at all close with. I scoffed and said, why the heck would I want to spend an evening with them? We barely contain our disdain for one another when I see them once every 3 to 5 years. She literally couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to throw a party with them because family. I was offended she even asked and told her so. My wedding or marriage isn't an opportunity for other people's egos or pretend family closeness nonsense.